The Dallas Mavericks just traded for Kyrie Irving pretty much days after Kyrie had just said that he wants to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets, basically a week after saying he would re-sign a long-term extension. Now, as far as the terms of can we trust Kyrie, that's not going to be really what I'm getting to. I might touch on a little bit in this video, but I mainly want to talk about if Kyrie plays, how impactful he could be for the Dallas Mavericks, and how they legitimately just turned into a finals contender pretty much overnight. So basically, the first thing I want to get into is going to be finally Luka Doncic getting a legitimate superstar to play alongside. This has been the biggest knock on the Mavs. They haven't been able to add a star for a very, very long time since Luka has been on the team, and Luka has still brought this team to playoff success year in and year out just because of how good he is by himself. Now, yes, they did get Kristaps Porzingis, but he never really worked out with them, and Christian Wood, although is a very good player, it was never a star-level player, same with Spencer Dinwiddie. But now that they get Kyrie Irving, a top 2 point guard when he plays, Luka Doncic now has the help he needs. He is so good that they don't need a big 3. A big 2 of Kyrie and Luka could very much be enough to make them a legitimate finals contender, and in my opinion, they are now one of the favorite teams out of the West. Before, I did not have them having even a chance of making the finals because it was the Luka show and that was basically all they had, but now Kyrie Irving adds a whole different dimension, and that ISO ball that they play so much is actually a very nice thing to have on this team, because that's basically the Dallas Mavericks' entire offense is ISO ball, and there's no one better that can score off of an ISO possession better than Kyrie Irving himself. And overall, I just think he is a perfect fit for this Dallas Mavericks kind of offensive scheme, and I really didn't like Kyrie on most situations. I only thought really 3 teams legitimately should be looking into him, and that was basically the Phoenix Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers, and, well, the Dallas Mavericks. So I guess there was 4 teams I thought actually would fit him, but now that Luka finally got that star, I don't think there's a way to actually guard this team, because Christian Wood is still on their team, and he's going to be very, very solid for them as a third best player. I think he is good enough to be a third best player on a finals contending team, especially when your best player is Luka Doncic and your second best player is a top 2 point guard in the entire NBA. Now, one of the biggest questions is Kyrie Irving going to play, and is he going to stay? And I think even if he is a 1-year rental, because I don't think even if they won the NBA Finals, it's a guarantee that Kyrie Irving would re-sign with his team due to his track record of leaving teams despite having success with them, i.e. the Cleveland Cavaliers after making 3 straight finals, the Boston Celtics after making the playoffs every year, the Brooklyn Nets despite being the number 1 seed in the East. So, they have a lot of playoff success, and he doesn't really stay with those teams. So even if he is a 1-year rental, if he does play for the rest of the season, doesn't get hurt, and he doesn't find a butterfly and run her off or something, Kyrie Irving legitimately makes this team a finals contender, and it gives them the star power they desperately, desperately needed, and I definitely think the Mavs can beat pretty much anyone in the finals. Now, I don't think they would be the favorites against the best teams. I don't think they would be the favorites against Boston. I don't think they would be the favorites against Milwaukee, but that's just how good Luka Doncic is. Luka is maybe a top 5 player in the league, debatably top 8 at worst. So I think Luka, for sure, with how good he is, can pretty much will his team to compete against anyone. In the Western Conference this year is kind of weak. Not weak, but it's just very, very... the competitive is dispersed very well, should I say. And I think that the Western Conference, with Golden State having a little bit of a struggle bus year, the Pelicans falling off recently, the 3rd seed being the Sacramento Kings, and I definitely think they can still beat the Memphis Grizzlies, I could easily see the Dallas Mavericks at least making the NBA Finals. But I do not think that they can win it, because I do think teams like Boston and Milwaukee are still significantly better than them, because they have a deeper team with a big 3 instead of a big 2, and they have guys like Giannis and Jason Tatum who are pretty much on the same level as Luka Doncic. Honestly, maybe not Jason Tatum, he might be a little bit worse, but they still have Jaylen Brown, one of the best supporting casts in the entire NBA. So although I think the Mavs can make the finals, I do not think they can win the finals with how they are currently built, and I'd be very surprised if they were able to do that. But I do think that they are now probably my favorite team to come out of the Western Conference, and as a Pelicans fan, that hurts me to say, because, we thought we were contenders, but I'm pretty sure the Dallas Mavericks now have us beat. But overall, I feel like Kyrie Irving is pretty much a perfect fit for this Dallas Mavericks team. I don't really understand a world where he doesn't make this team better unless he becomes a huge cancer, which is a possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen, because usually when Kyrie first gets to a team, he's fairly normal. He doesn't act up until about 2 or 3 years down the line. So I think there is a chance Kyrie would re-sign with them, and like I said, even if he is a 1-year rental, I think becoming a finals contender is a big deal for Luka Doncic and a big deal for the Dallas Mavericks to show that they are willing to make big trades to get star-level names and help him out. And I think in the long term, this will be a positive move, whether Kyrie stays or or not for the Dallas Mavericks' chances of keeping Luka Doncic in the long term as well. So I think this trade just helps so many things. It gives Luka Doncic confidence in the front office. It makes them contenders this year. Luka Doncic is probably going to even play even better. And I think for sure, if they even stick together, I think they could very much have a path of maybe even packaging Christian Wood and getting a third star to make them a legitimate finals contender to be able to beat anyone in a 7-game series. Because like I said, I still think the elite teams are a little bit better than them, but I do think that the Mavs are pretty much at the bottom of the elite teams now. I think that's just how good this team actually is. And like I said, they do play ISO ball a lot, and that's why I think Kyrie is such a perfect fit for this team, because Kyrie is one of the best ISO scorers in the entire NBA. Then you have Luka Doncic, who is literally unguardable at times. I don't see how this team won't work out. And I think the pressure that Kyrie is going to take off of Luka is going to make it that much harder. Because before, you could legitimately double Luka and just like Spencer Dinwiddie has to beat us, or Christian Wood has to beat us. And there's a chance that those guys aren't good enough to beat you. And if they're off, the Dallas Mavericks are going to get beat very, very bad. Because there is a way where you can double and even sometimes triple team Luka Doncic to get the ball out of his hands and make the supporting cast beat you. But now that they have Kyrie, you can't really double Luka, because Kyrie will legitimately kill you. And if you double Kyrie, you know Luka Doncic will kill you as well. So that's going to take so much pressure, and it's going to help with the offensive game plan for this team so much more, and they're going to be able to do a lot more. And I also think Christian Wood is going to benefit a lot, because Kyrie, all the way great scorer, is also a great facilitator. And I think with Luka Doncic's elite passing and Kyrie's elite passing, Christian Wood should be getting a lot more open looks as well. So all around, I think this team is going to be getting much, much better with the addition of Kyrie Irving, assuming that he is willing to play for them. But unfortunately, guys, that's going to be for this video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think that Kyrie to the Mavs is a bigger deal than I'm making it? Do you think they're now the finals favorites? Where do you think they go in the NBA? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like even point, hit the like button and subscribe button. I mean the absolute part of me, and I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah.